Saturday. I'm about to take the day off. I said I've been working really hard this week, and the news continues to news, of course. So last night, a attorney by the name of Ariel Mitchell Kitt. Okay. Now, this is a very important name because I remember seeing this attorney do some interviews on YouTube, as well as other outlets about Trey Songz. Well, we got another lawsuit involving Diddy. All right. And it starts again. And here we go. Here we go. What do we do here? We have another one. We have another one. We have another one.
Another one.
So we got to get into it. So Ariel Mitchell Kidd did an interview with News Nation last night, of course, and she dropped some pretty bombshell allegations. And I wanted to talk a little bit about them because this is a lot. This is yet more information coming about. So this attorney gave an exclusive interview to News Nation of commentary. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments, okay? We're trying to stay on top of this, Diddy news, information, and what else is going to come out of this. Let's go.
Diddy wants to testify at his racketeering and sex trafficking trial. And I, for one, will circle that date whenever it is on my calendar. I bet you will too. So will the many women and one man who've sued Diddy, claiming various forms of sexual abuse and violence. And Diddy might not know it yet, but he could have a lot more lawsuits headed his way. It's been rumored. A lawyer in Houston says he now represents more than 50 people who claim.
Yeah, we did. Y'all dropped the number. I think we did the number. We said it was 63, 60, 63, 62, if not 64 at this point.
And they were sexually assaulted by Combs and his associates. And he's planning a class action lawsuit. That's coming down. Separately, a woman known only as Jane Doe filed a lawsuit today accusing Combs of drugging, raping, and impregnating her. She claimed
we read that
Diddy pushed her to have an abortion, but she suffered a miscarriage first. Another new accuser says that Diddy raped her in 2018 and not at one of his parties or even his own house. I'm joined now by that woman's attorney, Ariel Mitchell Kidd, here in studio with us live tonight in New York. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so a lot to unpack there. We were talking before we got out here on set. Tell us a little bit about your client, of what you can.
Yes, so she reached out to me a few weeks ago after being referred to me by another attorney who knew I had been doing things about this case and had been sounding the horn on Diddy. I've actually sued him in another lawsuit in 2021 in Miami with Trey Songz. So she called me and told me a very horrific story about her assault and her escape from the assault. She told me that she would.
And she did. She has this. I remember her speaking on this quite some time ago. So that this has been the ongoing thing that she says it on her Twitter. I've been suing Trey Songz and Diddy since 2021. Now, Trey Songz and Diddy, they party together. Matter of fact, the lady that had her hair caught on fire in that one party, y'all remember that one? We showed that video here too. She was in the hot tub and her hair caught on fire. Trey Songz was at that party too. So yeah, they're very close, Trey Songz and Diddy. So, I mean, I'm waiting for more information to come out of Trey. And Trey Songz has had his own issues, his own lawsuits, his own allegations come out as well.
Was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Coram, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his like right-hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing.
Gisela Maxwell. That's who this lady is. Christina Coram. So she's all over the place. There needs to be some handcuffs in that lady too. There needs to be looking into that lady too, because if she was facilitating this, she's also should be held criminally liable. That I said that.
And then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy. And then Mr. Combs sexually assaulted her with an inanimate object, and then actually directed another gentleman to sexually assault her while he watched and pleasured himself. So she was able to escape eventually and ran out into the streets yelling and screaming. And a neighbor heard her because this happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood.
So there's a witness.
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report, and that was made in 2018.
There's a witness and a police report. What came out of that?
She, when she initially filed the police report, she didn't name Diddy out of fear of retaliation, and more importantly, fear that no one would believe her. Right. So she then updated that report, and we've been working with law enforcement to have them actually look into that report. They didn't do too much then, but now they are looking more closely at it.
All right, so let's slow that down just a minute. So when we talk about what happened in that house and she's running out to the street, I can see it as you're describing it so well. Did she call the police right away? You said that obviously there is a police report, but is she calling 911? Is she going to the neighbor's house? Can you give us any more detail about what happened?
Sure. What she did was, as she's running out the house yelling, a neighbor saw her and invited her into the home.
Okay.
And it's the neighbor who then called the police, and the police did come out at that time.
So there are witnesses to this, you guys. There are witnesses.
They also stated that they heard cars screeching, and the neighbor went outside and saw a black SUV leaving the premises very quickly. And by the time the police arrived, of course, he was no longer there.
Well, was the neighbor able to identify who it was?
The neighbor wasn't, only that they saw the car leaving, and they only described the truck. They could not tell who was inside, but she told the neighbor at the time who it was and why they were leaving so abruptly.
She must have been terrified.
Hearing her tell this story, her voice was trembling. She was in tears. I actually had to stop her at one point and tell her, take a second, because I can tell, even having her tell me the story, reliving it was extremely painful. It was like it happened yesterday. I can tell she's very traumatized by what happened to her. She really is looking to seek justice and looking to come out. She actually contacted me today and said that she saw something, I guess recently, that the Southern District Attorney came out and said that more victims should come forward and to contact their office, and that she saw that and wanted to make sure that she would be one of those voices who would be heard.
That is amazing. Shout out to her. Now, I'm wondering about the neighbor. The attorney does this part 2 interview, right? And let me just say this. Wow. I mean, it's amazing. And shout out to all the survivors at this point. I mean, I hope that they are, going to get they need their day in court, and they need justice. Absolutely. And everybody deserves to be heard in this situation. Absolutely. Now, let me just say this. I do wonder about the neighbor who called police. I do wonder about that. What happened next? What happened in this situation? This interview with Ariel Mitchell Kidd is a 2-part interview. Let's watch the next part, and y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up.
Hold up. Wait, say what? So in the narrative, it says on this video, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood being shopped around, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of. Mitchell Kidd would not reveal who was on the tape, but says Diddy and someone more high profile could be seen in the tape. Who? The other person in the video is very visible, and I can tell the video was pornographic, or this was in his Atlanta home. And it does seem like the person isn't looking into the video. To me, doesn't seem like the person knows they were being videotaped. Oh, shit.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes.
Yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of, and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before. So like a catch and kill?
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow. Can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
the
I can't explain who the person was, but Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really?
What?
And you've seen it?
What do you mean by, okay, when I think, wait. Let me collect my thoughts, okay? Who is more high profile than Mr. Combs? Put it in the chat. Put it in the comments. Tell me, in your opinion, who's more high profile than Mr. Combs? A leader, a political leader, a leader of a country?
Stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video, and I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
Oh my. All right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes. This was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped.
Wow.
It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitious.
And how many people did not know that they were being videotaped? And that's why Hollywood is not speaking, because they don't know. Some of these people don't know if they were videotaped, so they're trying to be very careful. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to go and tell on themselves, if you know what I mean.
Just recorded it.
All right. I wanted to ask you about the police report we talked about, but when your client came out, obviously the neighbor knew. Did she talk to her family? Did she talk to her friends? Did she have another lawyer? Let's go back to your client.
So at the time, she, as most rape victims are, they feel a lot of shame.
Absolutely.
And they don't want to vocalize what happened to them because then it makes it real. So they kind of internalize it and get over it. And due to the high profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's going to believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying.
Of course they were disregarding. They're not going to investigate this. They don't care. Like, if they were being pot off or attending these parties, or he's got the key to the city's buildings and schools named after him, they're not going to do anything about this. They're not. They're going to look away.
Even without saying Mr. Combs' name. So she didn't feel any confidence that revealing his name would have done anything.
Sure. I mean, but there's a police report. I mean, that fact in of itself is a big deal, because when you're talking about going back in time and talking about these allegations from other alleged victims.
And there's a witness too. The neighbor called the police. So there are witnesses to this, independent of the victim and the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator.
You know, there's not a lot of police reports, but you guys actually have one. And is that going to be revealed? Are we going to be able to see it?
Yes. As soon as I file my lawsuit in civil court, I will be attaching the criminal complaint that was made. I'll attach the number so everyone can see that this is a real number and can go to the police department there and request their own copy of that police report. That was.
Oh yes, we gonna be. That's what we're gonna do. Oh my God.
Made back in 2018.
Well, that's going to be a huge deal when it happens, obviously. So we want to follow up on that. Did Mr. Combs have any reaction? Do you know if he was interviewed? I mean, he was named in the police report.
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room, is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things.
They don't. They don't. How many rape kits do we have currently on backlog?
Right. Well, your client should be proud of herself for filing that claim and making that call and going for help, because that's a huge deal. And of course, these are allegations. We want to say that. What was it like for you when you got this phone call, when you realized what you were going to be stepping into?
After talking to her, I just wanted to protect her. I just wanted to help
her. Absolutely.
She seemed as somebody very broken by this experience. And it was very concerning for me to hear her saying these things and expressing this very deep trauma associated with what happened to her. I just wanted to make sure that, number one, she was heard and we can get her voice to the masses, and maybe Mr. Combs will actually, like right now we're starting to see, will actually face some type of consequences for what he's done.
Thanks for watching.
And that's the difference, I think, between an attorney that actually like gives a care about her clients, that it's not just like, let's make this into a media circus. It's actually, you know, do what we have to do. We'll get to the interviews, we'll do all that, but really what's important is taking care of your client and moving forward for the best interests of your client. I would like to see this police report, because it sounds like, well, we have somebody here. And honestly, we don't even know, out of all the people that have filed lawsuits, we can't assume that nobody contacted the police, because we don't know. Maybe they did and they weren't taken serious. Hell, what happened to this young woman? It sounds like she was ignored too. There's something really wrong with our judicial system, guys. And this is in line with why the industry and why these, you know, powers that be are able to get away with the shit that they're able to get away with. Okay? I mean, I don't know. That's just my thought on that. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is going to happen next? You know, we're going to be on that report and we're going to talk about it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button, subscribe, support the channel by sharing, and just hitting like. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye, guys.